yeah,
I'll subscribe.
Give you a card here, man. That has nutrition resources. That has my YouTube channel where I talk to other people here.
Alright,
But I appreciate it. But
Yeah.
so veganism. I'm assuming, based on what you shared with me about your meal, that you're not vegan.
I'm not, no.
Okay. Do you restrict? Like, do you eat all animal products?
I'll eat any animal product, sure.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to start by defining veganism, and then I just want to hear what you disagree with, what you agree with, stuff like that. All right. So veganism is an ideology that rejects the commodification of animals, right? So that means we want to use them, abuse them, or kill them for food, clothing, entertainment, or anything else. So what about that definition do you disagree with?
I disagree with abuse, because abusing animals is not okay.
Oh, no, sorry. So you mean you agree that we shouldn't abuse animals?
I agree that we shouldn't abuse them.
So can you define, or can you give me some examples of what abuse would be?
Like, let's say, living conditions that are not ideal for animals. They need to grow up and be healthy. Like feeding them hemorrhoids or whatever, steroids, to like fatten them up. It's probably not healthy, but it's for the big consumer markets. So like, feed the corporation. You know what I mean, right?
So when you say the abuse, you're giving examples like what's happening in factory farming, where they put them in confined spaces, maybe mistreat them, stuff like that, right? So, and that makes sense. I agree with you there, right? They shouldn't be abused. What I would argue is most people in any other context besides animals would consider the unnecessary killing or murder when it's human versus human to be abuse, right? It's only in the animal context where we consider everything else, for the most part, besides artificially inseminating, killing prematurely or ending their life when they don't want to die, to be abuse, right? And what I would argue is, or what I would ask you is, wouldn't you agree that the premature killing of a sentient animal that can feel pain, feel joy, experience life, that wants to live, wouldn't you agree that that is a form of abuse?
I would say yeah.
Okay.
I feel like they should at least grow up a little bit before kill them.
Okay. All right. So here's a little bit of, statistics, right? And this number varies, but about over 95% of animal products we consume are factory farmed, right? In factory farming, I know most cows on average are killed at about 1.5 years, right? They can live upwards of 10 years old, right? Chickens are killed at sometimes a few days, a few weeks, a few months. In the egg industry, if the chickens lay males, if they actually have fertilized eggs and they become males, they're useless to the egg industry. So they take those chicks, you've seen baby chicks, right? Yeah. And they just throw them in a blender. Or they suffocate them, right? So they're alive, right? No anesthesia or anything. So obviously, separate from the killing, we would agree that all of that sounds abusive, right? All of that sounds awful.
I would agree that's abusive.
Okay. So if you would agree with that, I guess where we go from here is what's stopping you from being vegan?
I'm not sure. I like getting my protein. I feel like animals, they do taste good if they're cooked properly.
Okay.
But I never really thought about it like that. I never went in depth and really thought about it. You can just buy what you want, eat it. You never really think about what goes behind the scenes.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, I ate animal products for 18 years of my life. I love chicken sandwiches, spicy chicken sandwiches. That was my thing. I'd eat them all the time. And I would agree with you, like, I didn't go vegan because I didn't like the taste of animal products. I basically went vegan because I couldn't answer the question, right? I couldn't answer, like, what is my justification for contributing to the death of trillions of sentient animals, right, including fish, when we don't need to survive, and when we could eat plant-based foods and the nutrition and everything's perfectly adequate. So I would say that, like, if the taste is a big one you're hung up on, there's a lot of tasty plant-based foods. Before I went vegan, I would eat very few fruits, vegetables. I like, once you kind of get it just naturally, right? It's like process of elimination. Once you eliminate one portion of the grocery store, you naturally have to go outside of that and view all the other foods. So it could be a great way to discover new foods. In terms of protein, yes, obviously beef, chicken, pork, those are good sources of protein because it's literally muscle. So what you're consuming, just to put more in perspective, when you consume a steak, right, that's essentially the equivalent of like cutting off my bicep or like my glute, my buttocks, and like grilling it on steak, right? It's just their version of it, right? So that's why there's so much protein, so it's muscle. But plant-based foods, specifically certain legumes, whole grains, and beans, they all have large amounts of protein. In fact, some of them, obviously meat is but depending on the meat, some plant-based sources have better forms of protein. And if you do like meat, there's a lot of great vegan alternatives. Have you ever had a Beyond Burger? No, okay, Beyond Burgers are really, really good. They taste very, very similar to burgers. They have new Beyond Steak, which is fantastic, honestly. So there's a lot of new advancements being made in food. So I would say, like, if you agree, right, if you're standing here and you're saying, okay, what this guy is saying I don't like, and I don't want to contribute to it, I just don't know what to do. My thing is start with one meal at a time, right? Go to the grocery store. Instead of getting steak like you normally would, get chickpeas, get black beans, get tofu, get Beyond Burgers, get Beyond Steak. Try to substitute one meal, and if that works, do the next meal, you know? And they have, do you eat cereal?
I do eat cereal, yeah.
Lots of cereals are vegan. You also have plant-based milks, which is great. You have a much bigger variety compared to dairy milk. Soy milk, almond milk, oat milk. I prefer soy. Some people love oat. So I guess from here, is there anything that you would disagree with regarding veganism or the morality of killing animals, or is there anything else that would stop you? Because I want to make sure I help you out here.
Well, that is a good question. I don't know exactly. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So you're kind of at this position where there's nothing you actively disagree with what I'm saying, essentially.
Well, I mean, I don't disagree with what you say because it seems true, and it probably is. There's research done on it. Mm-hmm. And I would agree that what you say is true. But as, like, a mere human that's small, and there's nothing really I could do to stop this massive corporation from doing anything.
Okay.
Though I could become vegan to protest, but I feel like that wouldn't really make a change because there's millions and billions of other people eating animals every day.
That is a good point. So what I would say to that, right, is because I get that, right, where as an individual, right, it can feel hopeless to make changes, right? But what I would say is, right, this is a little different than a corporation maybe getting away with something sly or something like that. This is mostly societal. So it's a societal perspective that animals are products, right? And just like how people of different races were treated differently, people of different sexual orientations were treated differently, at some point in history, people that weren't racist were the minority. People that weren't homophobic were the minority, right? And I'm sure if we look at the whole world, that may still be the case, but at least in America, we're kind of more, we're the progressive country, right? So what I would say is, with supply and demand, how change happens and why there are so many other vegan products is because consumers are putting their money. Think about what corporations want, right? Corporations, big industry, they want money, right? And they don't care what the price. You think that the beef industry cares that they're making money off beef? No. If people started eating plant-based burgers, vegan alternatives, they're going to go ahead and start making those because they just want to stay in business, make money. And that's exactly how you could put your dollar, how your dollar affects the supply and demand. So you actually can make a difference. Whenever one other person goes vegan, it takes from the demand and it contributes the demand to a different product. And those companies, they listen, they have all the statistics on how much money this product, that product's making, and they do make changes. And likewise, like if we look at other injustices, right, I'm assuming we're both, and we're not racist, right? I'm going to assume. Okay. So imagine using the same argument for any other injustice. Let's say you're against racism, but, let's say 95% of the world was racist, right? And the one person out of that 5% that isn't came to you and said, look, you don't have to do this. It's immoral. You agree with the principles. What's stopping you from making a change? And you said, well, everyone else is kind of racist, so, what am I going to do, right? I think we both agree that that's not an acceptable, logic. So I would say that forget about the practical arguments. Forget about, are we going to be vegan? Think about who you want to be and where your morals align. Mine, I don't want to contribute to the specific rights violations to billions of sentient animals, right? Unnecessarily. Because animals die all the time. They have to die for crop production. They have to die in car accidents. You know, people die, animals die. There's death everywhere, right? But if we can do a huge shift to decrease the breeding and the death of billions of those animals, why not? You know what I mean? And especially when it's, you know, arguably better for our health. Yeah. So anything else? Any other questions, anything?
No, I think I'm pretty good.
Awesome. And that card I gave you, it links to my website. There's the About page, but then there's a resources page that gives you nutritional resources, different vegan YouTube channels. I have a YouTube channel, so definitely check it out. But thank you for talking, man.
You're welcome.
Have a good one.